How you doing, folks? And I'm bomb. All right, my boss says I have a preoccupation with vengeance. We'll see about that. And do you guys want to hear a joke about a roof this morning? This first one's on the house. I'd like to introduce you folks to the stream. Everybody tuning in here this morning on the best darn Magic the Gathering show in the world. Thanks again, you folks, for tuning in. We got some subscribers pushing up on that 351 subscriber mark. That's right. We're growing. We're showing the world and the algorithm that the Brody Alfonso Morning Magic the Gathering stock show can make a difference in the world. That's right. The working man for the working man, here to give you the best that I can on the morning. It's Monday. It's Monday. Time to get up and kick the dog. Hair of the dog here this morning. Wherever you are, wherever you got Brody tuning in from, whether you got me on the back seat of the car, maybe next to the hot coffee pot, maybe you got me in your pocket. Thanks for taking me along for the ride here this morning. Should be a good one. You know what I could really see myself doing? Inspecting mirrors. That's right. I could. And why did the Scarecrow get promoted? Well, he was outstanding in his field. Every day is like a gift. I'd like a receipt for Monday. I want to exchange it for another Friday. That's right, I do. Who we got tuning in here in the world of Magic the Gathering? And the questions that we have to answer here this morning. Do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is there enough information out there? Or is there just too much information? Let me do it for you. I'm doing it here on the morning show each and every day on the week with Cardboard Splendor tuning in. How you doing? Gotta kick the dog. I'm just driving, but another half hour to work. How's it going for you? Drive safe? Oh, it's going decent. It's really cold out. I got my deck sleeved up. I got a stick of juicy fruit. Penrith is gonna move you. That's right. I got a new EDH deck. I'm getting ready to try here. Tonight is the night. We're gonna put this puppy into action and see what we can do. For any of those of you tuning in, you know Brody's been playing a little EDH with the group. I know it's fun. It's good. Had a little bit of cardboard excitement on Saturday over at the Coliseum with some friends. We didn't end up getting any pizza, but that's okay too. What should we do here this morning? Let's take a look at some AI generated magic cards. I think we should. It's a good way to get up, good way to get things moving here this morning. I like it. I do like it. Then we're going to take a look at some stock symbols. We talked about the cup and handle the other day. I've got my cup with a handle on it full of coffee. I'm going to have that this morning. Take a sip. First sip of the day here with you folks. When you make your way on the way to work, I'll be heading to work here after the show. I have my obligations to fulfill. I got to do what I can to move this economy and get things moving around, spread a little positivity to the world out there. All right, let's take a look at a couple of AI generated magic cards here this morning. You know the rule, but if you haven't tuned in once before, if the card is playable any way whatsoever, you're going to hear this sound. That's right, that's the sound of the dinger. But if it's got any gibberish on it whatsoever, if it's if it's a little bit of a blobbity blue blah hoo ha, right? You'll hear this sound. That's the sound of the buzzing, cousin. Stop that. All right. What do we got here today? Stonks. Stonks, 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 stonks love stonks down into my belly. What do you got? The Skull Keeper. Keeping skulls. It's white. You'd almost want this to be a black card. Love glancing at price history when I'm shopping. Lots of spicy spoilers came out of the weekend spice and spoilers and everything nice. Well, Brian, don't forget, no matter where you are, don't overspend. It's easy to do it. All right, let's see the Skull Keeper. Human Cleric. 2/2 for 2 white and 1. Legendary rule matter. Maybe you're playing Sisse. Sisse is a hell of a drug. Sisse is a hell of a deck, I must say. Lifelink 2/2. When Skullkeeper enters the battlefield, draw a card for each clue you control. This thing seems right on flavor with the murders at Karlov Manor. Whenever Skullkeeper or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, gain control of target creature if an opponent has more cards in hand than each other player. Think about that for just a second here. All right. Let's give it a go ahead. Seems okay. Draw a card for each clue you control. So this is a card drawing engine. And then when Skullkeeper and other allies, I liked it when the allies were a thing. It was quite interesting. You'd see color pairings that you wouldn't normally see being friends, so long as they were allies, right? This one's not an ally, though. The Skullkeeper are another ally. We should be an ally. Oh, well. Gain control of target creature and opponent has more cards in hand than each other player. All right, let's give it a fair. Let's say it's fair. No, some people are saying it's overpowered. How could it be overpowered? Oh my God, look at this here. Thug Rock. Uh-huh. It's a sorcery. All right, look at this. It's got a big finger on it, big thug pointing at us. It almost looks like Bowser from Mario. Look at this creepy looking dude with the beady little eyes. It's almost like the Colonel Sanders' beady little eyes. Thug Rock, you is tapped for mana. What are we going to do? Let's get it out of here. The sorcery that says you is tapped for mana. Well, if is you is or is you ain't tapped for mana, is you is or is you ain't my friend. This Thug Rock, not my friend. Let's give it a non-functional. Ne, ce n'est pas fonctionnable. This thing is not going to get us there. But this card, perhaps. Notion Glyperd. Sorcery. That Salt Shaker? What's he got? Some bazooka hands? Toilet paper roll? I don't know what these jars are. Sorcery. Destroy all soldiers or blue. I mean, the blue players aren't going to like this, but I think it's okay. Destroy all soldiers or blue? Take your pick. Can't pass that. That thing's a bunch of. I mean, the art's pretty cartoony. It's pretty great. 5 mana though. Let's see. What are we gonna give this? Non-functional. Fair OP underpowered non-functional. Let's give it a non-functional. Yeah. I don't know who other people are voting for this, giving it a fair. Cosmic, how you doing, buddy? Chili dog. Good you wash your hands? Elbow bump. Elbow bump is an emoji. I guess it is. Okay, the box is sheltered, chili cat, chili dog. Good morning, everybody. Nice to have you with us, Cosmic. Stay Cosmic. I saw myself an 8th edition foil City of Brass in the store. It wasn't 7th edition, it was 8th edition, but still, man, some of those old foils just blows my mind. 8th edition foil was like $400, maybe 500. I don't know if that's a good deal. I'm not the guy to really tell you. But what I can tell you about this Aramonium Love the 8th city. Still foil. Fire. Arunomonium. Well, it's a runimate. It's a good deal. That's a good deal on an 8th edition foil. Okay. Arunomonium says Merfolk Wizard 3/4 for 2 white and 2. Some crazy washed out watercolor art on here. I like it. It almost weird head on this. Doesn't look like a merfolk's head. It looks like he's like, let's look in closer. Let's look closer. Look at the face on this thing. That's a merfolk? That ain't no merfolk I ever seen. Because you never had a folk like me. Never. I had a friend like me. Never had a merfolk like this that said other black creatures your opponents control become snow. Oh. I mean, that actually works, doesn't it? Snow creatures, snow lands, snow this, snow that. Maybe it's snow like Informer. You know me, Daddy Snow. We want to play with the stock show now. You know me. You know me, Skibbity Burbity Snow. Right? Informer. Other black creatures your opponents become snow. I leaky boom boom down. Merfolk snow. Snowfolk. Nerfolk. Let's give it a go. Yes. Informer. You know me, Merfolky Snow. We're going to play. I leaky boom boom down. Why does it say other? I don't know. It shouldn't say other. It should just say players deal. And then look in the smaller bracketies. It says players deal combat damage are that creature. The players deal combat damage are that creature. Die, ay. Okay, coach. Coach has got us on a technicality. Over the line. Over the line. He's over the line. Mark it as a spare, right? Yeah, let's mark it as a spare. Over the line, not on the Chavez. Not on the Chavez. That's a foul. Over the line. Over the line. Mark it as a spare. All right. All the bro abides. The bro abides. 100%. Hackthane, Aladdin's lion. Wow. I didn't know Aladdin had a lion, but this is a worm. 6/6 PT. The power, the toughness. Hackthane. It's like, what do you run in? What does Aladdin's carpet run on? Hackthane. This card. Hackthane, Aladdin's lion, legendary creature, worm, 6/6. What does it say? Lotwolves. Lotwolves? Lowelves, which means blocking creatures can't attack you. Lowelves, blocking creatures can't attack you. You have no max hand size, and tap, add 1 mana of any color. Frailese hides more lack than we collect. This is I don't know, 6/6 creature worm dork that taps 1 mana. Blocking creatures can't attack anyway. How do you pronounce that previous one? Hackthane, Aladdin's lamp, or this one? Arunamonium? Urumonium? Urumonium? It's like Arum and then onion. Arumonion. 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 Right? Did you just take the room? You take the room you're sitting in, and then you have an onion, and you add the two together. Arum onion. Arumonion. Hackthane. Good morning, Bob. Nice to see you, buddy. All right, stopping in for a little bit of gluten dach, Bob. A little bit of gluten-free tea bag in your cup and a little bit of coffee. Yeah, that's what's up. Let's see here. This legendary 6/6 worm with Lowell vest. Blocking creatures can attack, taps for 1. 6/6 for 5. I don't know what to do with this one. I'm tempted to pass it. Just simply for the blocking creatures can't attack you. That's fair. Let's give it a ding. Okay. Hackthane, Aladdin's lion. Why not? Aladdin's lion is a worm. I'll take it. A lot of people say it's fair. 53% of people are giving it the fair. Fair warning all through. Fair warning. How about this one? Entomber Progessor. Entomber Progessor. Progessor? Looks like he's voting. He's casting a ballot. This looks like He's got the voters box here. Yeah, he's he's casting this. This wizard isn't casting a spell; he's casting a ballot. Right? This is this is another method of casting from a wizard, I guess. Here this morning, not all wizards cast spells. Some wizards cast ballots. Let's see here. Trample, human advisor. Yeah, he's advising you whenever Entomer Progesior enters the battlefield. Each player secretly votes for a creature card from their graveyard. Then that player shuffles. It prevents trample. Whenever enters the battlefield, each player secretly votes for a creature card from their graveyard. That player shuffled. What do we do with the stuff that we vote? Right? I like it. And Tumor Progesior. Well, it's kind of neat the way the art actually ties into this text on the card, but it's so close, but it's not quite there. I like it. Casting them spells. What do we do once we vote? I want to know. Each player secretly votes for a creature card in their graveyard, and then what? We want to know. What do we get, right? Once we vote. Election year this year, ain't it? Not for us here in Canada. We don't have an election till next year, but it'll be interesting to see if this wizard here, what's he voting for? Okay, which creature is he? And he's in the graveyard too, so that's pretty sweet, right? He's in the graveyard. He is voting. Ah, I'm gonna pass it. We vote for it and then nothing happens, right? Okay. Fair underpowered. A lot of people, 52%, say that this thing is underpowered. Look at the man chest on Mogi's Predator here this morning. Ooh, wow. All right. Somebody went to the spa, had a little bit of waxing done on the front pectoral region down through the belly. Mogi's Predator. All right. We got some man chest, some beefcake, no nipples. Nippless one, 4/3. Angel for 1 mana. Oh, ha, ha. Jeez Louise. That's expensive. Ain't it? Can you afford the one? Okay, so you get a 4/3 angel for 1 with the full art. Choose one. Destrite. All right. So it's got some modes on it. Destrite. Destrite. Pay a white and 1. And then 1, discard this card, pay 4, and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. I'm gonna say its Destrite cost is its foretell cost. So for 1 white and 1, you can play it face down. For 4, you can pay a white to discard it. Okay. And it's got exile a green card from your graveyard, create a 2/2 white cat dragon token with flying, and discard a card. Exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls. And then it's got mode, put a +1/+1 counter on a random creature and untap all token and opponent controls. What the heck is this? Nipless Cage, right? Morning, Twiddler. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you here. It's early. We're getting going here. We got Mogi's Predator just got out of the gym. He was hitting the bricks and hitting the weights this morning. Then he headed on down to the salon, got his chest waxed, and you can discard him if you pay a white or play it face down for 4 mana. And then what's best is if that's not enough, you can exile a green creature from your hand and get a 2/2 cat dragon token with flying, or discard a card and each exile target non-land permanent opponent controls. A lot of text on here. Can we pass this? Let's go. No, let's fail it. I'm gonna say gibberish. Okay, I'm gonna say this Mogi's Predator. He looks like a predator too. Would you leave your loved ones alone with this person? Probably not. OP. 48% people say it's OP. Oh, version of Nipless Cage here, right? All right. Midnight Shadow or Aura. It's an aura. Midnight Shadow. After midnight. We're going to let it all shallow down. 1 blue and 3 for the Midnight Shadow creature aura. No power and toughness. How's everybody doing? Staying warm? Yeah, we got more snow last night, Twiddler, and it's cold. Minus 20 something. So it's too darn cold and it's too darn snowy. Got a lot of that to deal with here. Got a lot of useless labor and a lot of snow to clean up. Not digging it. How's it in Florida? Pay a blue and tap and put a fish counter on target creature. Tommy Siddons, I hate winter so much. I know, right? Well, here's the thing. The days are getting longer and we're like halfway through the winter. I consider like we had such a mild winter. It's like almost like we got a rebate on winter this year. We got a 50% off rebate on winter. Makes the drive longer. Yeah, it does. Be careful out there. Stay between the lines. Put a fish counter on target creature. What's a fish counter going to do? Just make it smell. Look at him. He's at the fish market. Look at this. Midnight Shadow. This guy's like, would you like some trout? Would you like some tilapia? Some trout, tilapia? Slap you with a tilapia. This Midnight Shadow has got to go. Get it out of here. Okay. Let's keep going. Not mild in my neck of the woods. 20 degrees here is close to all-time low. We have minus 20 degrees. Minus 20. The negatives. We're running at a deficit here. Look at this card. Cosmic, check this out. The Zombie Naturalist, the 1/4. Look at the art on this spooky little hound here. Legendary creature horror. Got an interesting hat. He's got a crack in the windshield, maybe some trees. Vigilance? Vigilance. Double vigilance. It's got Vigi. Can I get a Vigi ya? Shimmy yeah, shimmy yay. Some vigilance here so we can take it away. It's the off on a natural cause, bon voyage. It's the zombie naturalist here just because. 1/4, vigilance, straight reveal the top cards of your library. Put all non-land permanents you own onto the battlefield. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Reveal the top X cards of your library. Put in all non-land permanents you own on the battlefield. All the non-land permanents go on the battlefield for straight. And then 3 a Phyrexian red and 1 red. Target land you control becomes an XX enchantment with creature and power and toughness equal to the number of cards in your hand. Yeah, the Zombie Naturalist is naturally a card that you might want to see. No Cascade, replaced with Vigilance twice. That's right. This thing taps itself. It doesn't tap to attack. In fact, when it attacks, you know what it does? It stands straight up on the battlefield, on edge. That's double vigilance, right? You know how vigilance works, right? Usually the vigilance, the card just stays like this. Well, and with double vigilance, it goes right up on edge and stands straight up. And it looks your opponents in the eyes and says, I'm so vigilant, I'm double vigilance. Not a zombie, though. Okay, Tommy, let's get it out of here. It's a horror. Horror. Shut your dirty horror mouth, right? Non-functional. All right. Dungeness Crab. Flying can only block creatures with flying. Shuffle the rest of the game. For blue, Star, Human Barbarian, Dungeon Crab. He's got quite the mouth on him. A white and 1 for a Star flying Human Barbarian Dungeon Crab can block only creatures with flying. Then you get to pay a blue for the rest of the game. Shuffle. You just sit there and shuffle up your deck. This ain't gonna do it. This ain't gonna win. I mean, it'll be fun, but it isn't gonna win games, right? Do we want to win games? Let's buzz it out of here, cousin. Non-functional. Oh, here we are. We'll be back to be started last week by the Miracher. The cute little Miracher. What that mouth do? That mouth goes nom nom nom. It chews. 1/2 cat Miracher is in your opening hand. You may begin with it on the battlefield. Aw, who wouldn't want to begin with this little cookie cutter on the battlefield? Such a cute little kitten, eh? Whenever you scry, you may have target creature get +2/+2 and gain first strike until end of turn. It appears a flame flaws at the sea. Flame flows? Flame flaws. Flame, flow. Flee, fly, flow, plum. All right. This card seems fine. It seems quite good. Seems decently decent with the decency of human decency. Why not? There's a lot more where that came from, I'll tell you. Like to thank you guys for tuning in. It's the Morning Magic the Gathering stock show. And if you folks like tracking the prices of magic cards, whoa, kind of zoomed in a little bit. Hot and heavy on the zoom button here this morning, Brody. Back out. All right, back out. Out we go. I mean, I can always move the chair. You like tracking the prices of magic cards? Is there enough information out there? Or is there just too much darn information for you to make sense of? Information at the station. What are you going to do? Well, you could do it yourself. You could look at the stock charts. You could guess. You could talk about it with your friends, or you could join me and the rest of the squad here on the morning show when we talk about it and we drink coffee and we discuss the articles in the world of Magic the Gathering and a serious face on. That's right, it's Monday. We'll have a little fun with it too. For just joining us, let's read a article. Got a couple of articles that I really want to read. Okay, so the first article I got to read is from my brother from another mother, a good time stock article. Draftsman, a linguist, if you must. The none other than Matt Grzechnik. Say it with me, folk. GRZ. Trends in 2023. Let's take a look at it here this morning, Matt, and then we're gonna do a quick recap of last week. Thanks to Matt behind the scenes. All right. Little late to the party, Brody is with this one, but I think it's a good article and I like the way Matt writes, so let's give it a reboot here this morning. Quick and fast, behind the scenes, the New Horizons series has been featured for the stocks for a year from the inaugural article, Dominaria Remastered in January, covering the Secretversary 2023, wrapping up the new year. A total of 24 articles were released with this year, and the count, approximately 78 cards, were highlighted as potential growth opportunities. Anger collections in the house. All right, growth opportunities, price anchors, and experience a downward trajectory. Notably, the standout performer of the year include Court of Garenbrig. What's this do anyway? We get an enchant for 2 green and 1. When Court of Garenbrig enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. The monarch mechanic is super powerful. It's actually quite busted. If you can hold on to the monarchy, you get extra cards in the end step. Why is that never a bad thing? Because drawing cards wins you games, Brody, and that's the way you want to do it. At the beginning of your upkeep, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. Then, if you're the monarch, double the number of plus. What? At the beginning of your upkeep, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. Then, if you're the monarch, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. What's cracking? OMG. No, it's called a posterior cleft, not a crack. It's a posterior cleft. That is the technical term for it. Anybody tuning in this morning? Okay, this thing is nutter butters. Let's see. You know what? Soaring from an initial market price of $3 to a stable 18 in Bloodline Keeper, which recently surged from our initial assessment of $14 to 41. What's the keeper? The 3/3 for 5 mana. Super secret layer, right? I call it a package. 4 mana, 2 black and 2 flying. Create a 2/2 vampire creature token with flying. Transform Bloodline Keeper. Activate only if you control 3 or more vamps. The vamps. Pass the cat. Like it. All right, well, we're looking at this, and alongside the winners, there's notably losers. The most significant downturns were incurred by the Ren and the Realmbreaker, plummeting from $22 to a modest 5. Urchat, the Remnant Memnarch, falling from $14 to $2.80, and a primary factor considering to these losses is the absence of a substantial presence in popular formats. Popular formats being Brody Alfonso's Morning Magic the Gathering talk show, right? Despite the initial excitement surrounding Urtet leading up to its release and the influencing spike in other niche card prices, it failed to make a lasting impact on EDH. Meanwhile, Ren and Raker continue to linger in the shadow of the Ren and 6 and competitive formats, indicating a likelihood of further deprecation. The depressing Ren, right? Ren and depression. It's a total spank package, right? Ren's going to $5 is a little surprising. I think so. The test of time throughout all New Horizons series this year, several trends have emerged. Firstly, there was a balanced distribution of articles covering release sets, commander products, and secret layer releases. Among these products, a noteworthy observation was the presence of creature cards with instants and with sorceries closely following in terms of coverage, reflecting on the cards that have appreciated since their respective articles release. Significantly trending was the notable increase in secret layer creature cards. Example include the First Sliver, Rin and Seri the Inseparable, Azika the God of the Tree, and experiencing value growth ranging from between 62% and 98% since their articles were published. However, the Legends from Secret Lair series emerged as an exception to this trend. In contrast, the majority of the creatures covered regular set releases and commander products experience a price decline. With the influence of potentially relevant creatures being added to the game, it's difficult for these cards to appreciate in value. And here we have the One Ring. I still don't have a copy of the One Ring. L'Anneau Unique, right? Tommy, that's what it is. It's the L'Anneau Unique. It's the unique one. Cards that retain value or significantly increased for their momentum during the year were undisputed staples in other formats, such as Clever Concealment and L'Anneau Unique, the One Ring. They exemplify this as their impact and flexibility allowed them to be seamlessly integrated into a wide variety of decks, contributing to their sustained value. I'm asking myself, how long do I have to get a copy of the One Ring before it's out of print and it goes up? What's the likelihood of a reprint on the One Ring? Buy a bundle, guaranteed the One Ring in it. Really? That's the way to go, Bob. That's I'm going to do it then. That's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to get my Anno New Unique. A bundle? Well then. Dawning of a new age. The future outlook of undervalued cards remains uncertain. How much is the MSRP on a bundle right now? As the most significant increases in the market, prices often hinge on the card finding its niche in a deck and as part of a sideboard. Smaller jumps in value may be influenced by factors such as popularity, media coverage, or scarcity. One prevalent concern revolves around the sheer volume of products released annually and its impact on the cards, with many of them becoming upgraded versions of old staples or receiving specific treatments such as full art basics flooding each set. It seems that that the space for growth in the game is shrinking. The overall health of Magic the Gathering has become quite a frequent topic of discussion, especially given the substantial changes the game has undergone in the recent years. Even comparing it to this current state of how the game looked 5 years ago is indeed challenging. In Introduction to Play Boosters and Murders at Karlov Manor, representing a single major change upon the horizon, one of the more designated card slots and the heightened emphasis on the list for each set, the number of rares coming out of these packs is set to increase. The shift will likely cause various effects on individual card prices as well as the overall cost of packs and boxes moving forward. However, further ramifications of this change are yet to be observed in practice. From across the multiverse, we get the favorite product release and future reading from Matt. Thank you very much for bringing us another fantastic article here on the stock desk. Shout out to you, my man. I'll hit you up on X. I appreciate it. Or Twitter. What, the platform formerly known as Twitter. Now it's X. All right, 89 bucks for a bundle, you say, Bob. That's not a bad idea. If you haven't got yourself the copy of the One Ring, a bundle on Amazon is 89 bucks. Is that high? It seems kind of high, right? But the One Ring is 75, so I mean, you get it. You get it, plus I'm sure you get some other packs, right? All right. Well, we got another article here from the stock desk for you folks here this morning. A good one from Arjun. It's the weekly winners of last week. I want to take a look and read some of this and see what's moving. What? Animation module? Holy guacamole. All right. Grab your chips and dip. Sit down and listen to it. The first spike caused by murders at Karloff Manors has reached the interest in especially some foil cards. This is the time that Brody is especially fond of when we get new releases. And if we're going to drive up some card prices in some previous sets, that's going to give us an opportunity to boogie through the chaff that we've since forgotten about and try and find some diamonds and some nuggets in those old printings that maybe just move up a buck or two. That's right. Get yourself a numble for 87.50 every week, just in time for F&M. Well, it's Monday, and screw it. We're going to read the article anyway. All right, animation module last week up 300%. If you remember, this was a card from the Kaladesh block, and it was like you needed 3 of these things to get like an engine going, right? There was the animation module, and then there was like 2 other ones. Like this one's the 1 mana that says when 1 or more +1/+1 counters are placed on a permanent you control, you may pay 1. If you do, you get a servo. And then you pay 3, tap it, choose a counter on target permanent player, give it another counter of that kind. Interesting. What kind of jank are we doing with this Kaladesh staple? Right, long past forgot about card. You can see, look at the look at the look at the look at the price trajectory on this has done absolutely nothing. Just sit and spit around the $1 mark, and now boom, up to $4, a 400% increase in the animation module. Enough to animate yes, enough to animate your face. It combos with that Bard Goblin. All right, starting off this week, the animation module is a rare artifact from Kaladesh. I'd probably have it in the box somewhere. So now's the time to buy list this sucker. You get $4 for it. Maybe it'll go a little higher. Good trading fodder. This artifact from Kaladesh was about $1 last week and was mainly around that price because it does some play in Commander. Mainly in decks around Amarthus, the Ghostfire Initiate. What's this one? The double X Spirit Naga? My Naga. Amarthus Ghostfire Initiate enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters on it. Whenever you put 1 or more 1/1 counters on another colorless creature, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Amarthus. When Amarthus dies, manifest a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of counters on it. You manifest? All right, well, we're going to have to get a game ruling judge. All right, this rare from Kaladesh was about $1. Amarthus, the Ghostfire Initiate. Sir Ginger, right? Here's Sir Ginger. This is a gingerbread? Is this a soulless ginger or this is just a gingerbread cookie on a horse? Food night. Sir Ginger the Meal Ender. Oh my gosh. Has trample and hexproof and haste as long as opponent controls a planeswalker. Whenever another artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Sir Ginger and scry 1. And then 2 untap it, Sir Ginger. Sack 2 tap sack Sir Ginger. You gain life equal to its power. And as you would probably have guessed it, and also could have seen from the commanders that were just mentioned, animation module wants to be in decks that care about counters, preferably the 1/1 type, since it then can be used to churn out 1/1 artifact servos. Sir Ginger is avenging her eaten gingerbread husband. Garuk ate him in the trailer. The cards, but yeah, talk about flavor, right? All right. What is it? What does and what kind of pop do they drink? Ginger ale, of course. All right. The card spiked this week when a preview came out from the Murders of Carlos Manter that goes infinite with the module. Crime novelist. This is what we're talking about. The gobbly-boo. Whenever you sack an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on crime novelist and add red. All right, this card's getting a lot of traction, a lot of attention, the crime novelist. This thing's like doubling up the token value on your dockside extortionist. It's pretty sick. You get 2 mana for sacking a treasure now, and this thing gets bigger. It's disgusting. It's like, what were you thinking? I mean, the only thing they could do is make it cost less, right? It could be 1 mana. Then it'd be just disgustingly busted. But this is new. It's a new uncommon in the upcoming set that makes a 3-card combo with animation module and any sacrifice outlet as long as it can sacrifice artifacts. Meaning that if you have an artifact creature, perhaps servos, and Ashnod's Altar, for example, that will do. So the module makes servo, you sack a thing. Yeah, okay. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact through your sack outlet, you get to put a 1/1 counter on crime novelist and you get red. But since you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, animation module will trigger, and then you get to pay 1 to make a servo. Since you received red, you can use that to pay for the trigger. The new servo can in turn be sacked to your outlet like the Ashnod's Altar, and you get to rinse and repeat. The Ashnod's Altar is always finding ways to be busted, right? What's this card worth? I have to take a quick look. What's the Antiquities version? There were some people who bought this out, in fact. Plenty of copies of Ashnod's Altar. All right. All right. Up again. Muxus, the Goblin Grandy. Muxus. Sir Ginger. Ashnard. It's Ashnard. Muxus. Okay. Get in the truck. We're giving no mucks. This is Muxus, the Goblin Grandy. No mucks given, only 16%. Why is this a winner? You might ask. Well, I put the cheapest version of the header, which is from the first Jumpstart set, but the version from 2022 jumped a whole lot more and is high up on the weekly interest this week. To be fair, not sure there's an actual reason this card is spiking at the moment to a jumping that high, but that being said, Muxus is still a beast. I give 0 mucks about this card. Let's read Muxus. 6 mana for the 4/4 legendary creature Goblin Noble. When Muxus enters the battlefield, reveal the top 6 cards of your library. Put all Goblin creature cards with converted mana cost 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a rando order. When Muxus attacks, it gets 1/1 until end of turn for each other goblin you control. So Muxus, he just goes and gets you more gobos. The altar used to be $15 uncommon. All right, originally pivotal in a historic gobos deck, the Muxus transformed the archetype into a potent combo. We're casting it for 6 mana, unleashed a lethal swatham of hasty goblins. While this strategy at first mainly took place in the Magic arena, it's been influencing the physical card market for some time as well. Lately, the card is mainly popular in Legacy, Goblin Recruiter, and this is boosted. Yes, boosted. Who's that? Yo, WSP, Bill Webb. Who's Blue Whip? Blue Whip? Nice to see you. Joining us over on the Twitch stream, I guess. Nice to see you here this morning. We're talking stops, we're talking magic cards, and we're talking prices. All right, the combo of these Legacy Goblins deck is still pretty simple. Make sure you have 6 mana, play Mux, and win. Since the deck is obviously packed with Goblins for mana value for 5 or less, there's pretty good chance that you're going to get to put an army into play. While this deck has existed in Legacy for some time now, not too long ago, it received broadside bombardiers and once again drove the deck over the top and renewed interest in it. Of course, this deck plays cards from like Chrome Mox, Skirk Prospector, Simian Spirit Guide to help churn out Muxus early in the game, and Chrome Mox in turn can be used later to be sacrificed to broadside bombardiers and fling some damage. All right, let's talk about Chrome Host Seed Shark. This is a shark. Number 3, up 41%. We're talking about the winners of the week last week. Phyrexian Shark, the 2/4, cost you 1 blue and 2. Chrome Host Seed Shark. Flying sharks. I mean, every good shark should have either frickin' laser beams on their head or it should fly or both. All right. Scotty, I mean, if there's one thing that I ask for, it's flying sharks with frickin' laser beams on their head that are Phyrexian. And when you cast a non-creature spell, you incubate X, where X is that spell's mana value, and you create an incubator token with X/1/1 counters on it, and 2, transform this artifact. It transforms into a 0/0 artifact creature. All right, the shark. Let's sing it with me now, everybody. Baby shark, doot, 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 doot. Brody shark, doot, 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 doot. No, let's not. No. Sorry, boys. You've been infected with the Baby Shark song. We have some ill-tempered sea bass here, right? All right. I love it. Now that you have that song in your head and you want to just murder yourself because of the stupid doot 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 song, Wizards likes to combine sharks and tornadoes, and I'm pretty sure we all remember Shark Typhoon. A card that still sees play, right? This week, we see Sea Chrome Shark doot 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 moving up quickly, and it seems like that it has to do with it being played both in Standard and Pioneer, just like the previous weeks. It's the previous weeks. It's good to mention that we are in the Standard Region Championship RCQ season, and thus we see a lot of Standard staples move up since people need the cards in a rather short time frame and be able to play with them. For 3 mana, we have a 2/4 flying shark. Doot 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 doot. That incubates every time whenever you play a non-creature spell. Not very much like Shark Typhoon, doot 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 doot, which straight up makes flying shark tokens. All right, what does the bro say? Dee 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 dee. Let's keep going. What does the bro say? Okay, it sees play in standard bat domain decks, and where it usually is included in singleton in the main board, you often find additional copies in the side. These decks need a few turns to get started and often want to win with Atraxa Grand Unifier or Herd Migration, so having a cheap blocker that can make additional blockers a bit more early on in the game can keep you alive long enough where you can get your win condition going. The deck also plays a lot of board wipes, and your incubation tokens don't get hit by them. They just sit there waiting for the perfect moment to be brought to life and do their thing. Brody, what's going on, Ed, the dual brain, the thinkingest man in the game? Good buddy. Loved the videos that you did over there with a little bit of TCG player card tracking. I really like that. Brody's been buying penny stocks, so just Brody's like, I'm a contrarian, okay? So like I love Ed the dual brain. What a guy, right? I made this video. It says like stay away from the penny. Well, great video talking about reserve list staples and then the difference between penny stocks. But like, I couldn't help myself with the latest cards being printed. I had to pick myself up some penny stocks. Then I watched that video. I was like, yeah, it's pretty risky, but I'm risking it for the biscuit on those echoing deeps and spelunking. I think we're gonna hear. I think it could be good. So I would really like to see what I would love to see from you, Ed Dual Brain, is a little more expansion on that TCG player site because I don't run it so much, and maybe show us how to track some sales data over there so you can tell like which cards are moving and how many of them. I don't know how to do it other than just punching in an individual card's name and then seeing how many sales copies there are and added them up. Is there a way to filter it? I'd love to see a little bit more. Teach a man to fish and he will be fed for a lifetime. Foil updates. This is the part of the show that's for you, Stefan. The Cosmic Seeds. It's a little extra bonus because this preview season is going from Macam. That's the Murders at Karloff Manor. So I figured you may want to see the following two cards that are moving up. I'm pretty excited about the animation module. Like I quit buying reserve list cards under $2. I'm gonna go check my bulk and see how many copies of the animation module I have. At the moment, it's mostly the foil copies. Is this an Onslaught foil? Looks like it. Onslaught foils, mucha gusta, cost quite a pretty penny. And at the moment, mostly the foil copies, but regular versions may also start moving. What's this one? Ixidor, Reality Sculptor, 5 mana for a 3/4. Wizard Legend, face down creatures get 1/1, and you get to turn target face down creature face up. The Morphin Man. Morphin Man. All right, both Ixidor, the Reality Sculptor, and Dream Chisel's foil prices have spiked. It's not really hard to see the pattern between them, and both of them interact with face-down creatures. And if you've been following the preview from Murders at Karloff Manor, you've noticed that this set, among the others, has also revolved around these creatures. The face-down. How does the song go? Face-down creature cards. That's the way I like to play. Right? I think it goes something like that, right? Face down, lands up. That's the way I like to cut my deck. I think that's how it goes. You'll have noticed that this set, amongst others, also revolves around creatures turning face down, and the new ability Disguised has popped up with some of the previewed cards. It allows players to pay 3 to cast a card with the ability face down as a 2/2 colorless, typeless creature with Ward 2. Disguise's better version of Morph, which was considered a bit too weak for the current standard environment. So now we're coming into, what do we got here? The Dream Chisel. Yeah, you call yourself a chiseler, eh? Okay, this 2 mana chisel from the Onslaught. Face down creature spells you play cost 1 less to play. Dream Chisel. This guy looks like a rock star, right? I mean, I do think we need an alt on this version on the far left here to give him a bit of a guitar. This is Spinal Tap, perhaps. We got Aurelia's Vindicator, the 4/2 for 2 white and 2 flying lifelinks, Wardy, Disguisey, X3 when a white. When Aurelia's Vindicator is turned face up, there are so many jokes that can be done with the face up and the face down. It's disgusting. Good morning, Benson. A Feto Alchemist. Thank you. When Aurelia Vindicator is turned face up, exile up to X other creatures from the battlefield and creature cards from graveyard. When Aurelia's Vindicator leaves the battlefield, return the exiled cards to their owner's hand. And Branch of Vitu-Ghazi. All right. This is a land that you can disguise. Taps for a colorless, disguise 3. You may cast this card face down for 3 as a 2/2 creature with ward. Turn it face up at any time for its disguise cost. Who has got 2 thumbs and likes cards? This guy. All right. When Branch of Vitu-Ghazi is turned face up, add 2 mana of any color to your mana pool. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. That's quite a powerful mechanic. I like the steps and phases end. Face down. Cards, face up cards. All right, at this time, it feels like these foil versions are just being brought out purely for speculation. But if you really want to play with these cards, the regular versions are still available for reasonable prices. It remains to be seen whether or not these cards from Murders of Carling Manor are interesting enough to really revitalize the interest of face-down decks. All right. Cheap pickups for this week if you don't want to go face down into a face plant. You can pick up these cheap cards. All right. For the record lows, we're considering any price of any card in the past 7 years, and many cards are even cheaper a decade ago. So this card here, Sonic Screwdriver, right? The guy, that little hedgehog, if he had a tool, this would be one he packed around with him. The Sonic Screwdriver, 3 mana. Artifact, tap, add a mana of any color. Pay 1 and tap it, untap another target artifact. What? This is like a key. And then 2 and tap it to scry 1, and then 3 and tap it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. This is quite a utility. This is quite the utility screwdriver, right? Not too bad. All right, $1. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Sonic Screwdriver has been identified as a premium stock, a utility artifact, and the card has reached its bottom and is starting to consistently uptrend. Look at, here's another card. Foil is sold out on Card Kingdom. The foil screwdriver? Uncommon from cons. Check out that lens clarity. Lens of clarity. You want to check out lens of clarity? Is it up here? Lens of, where's the lens of clarity? It's quite a screwdriver, right? It's like vodka and orange juice. Oh, lens. You want the lens of clarity? Is that the one? 37 cents on Mitgo. What's the paper version? Sold out. You may look at the top card of your library and at face down creatures you don't control. Hey, cool. Lens of Clarity, fairly cheap though. Sold out. So that's the tech. Wow. All right. Look me in the eye, you face down face down tech, right? It's not there. Search for it. It has potential with Dave Down Tech. Sonic Screwdriver. Okay, here's another card that used to go infinite with the Teferi, right? The Chain Veil. 4 mana at the beginning of your end step. If you didn't activate a loyalty ability of a Planeswalker this turn, you lose 2 life. So you're going to want to activate your Planeswalkers. For each Planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalty abilities once this turn, as though none of its loyalty abilities have been activated. $4.70. This thing's trending down and getting a little bit more cheap to pick up. What was it, 22 bucks? Just going back a couple of years ago, I saw a lot of interaction with this sucker playing with the Teferi and multiple activations of the Chainville. And here's an interesting card I was looking at yesterday. Now, here's a card I want to actually pick up because I was looking at some of the best ramp cards in Magic the Gathering, and this one came up, Glimpse of Nature. From Kamigawa. 1 green, whenever you play a creature spell this turn, draw a card. Seems decent. This is card draw on a stick. Or on a sorcery. So you play this, and then you play creature spells, and you basically get Beast Whisperer for a turn. Decent card draw, right? Face down morph decks are fun. I couldn't agree more. I wouldn't mind playing one. All right, Arjun, thanks for a great article here this morning. I appreciate it. This is definitely a card that I would want to pick up. This one, especially in a green deck. It's got interesting art on it. It's got a man fishing. I like it. Keep wishing and keep fishing for prices that make sense to you in the world of Magic the Gathering. It's Monday morning. Where are you? Are you hanging out at the zoo? Are you sitting at your kitchen table, or you got the coffee pot brewing? Maybe you're at the gaming table or at the game store because you fell asleep under the tables last night and now you need to get up and take flight. They locked you in. Did you get stuck at the game store? All right, the movers and the shakers. If you got tapping your toes in your seat and you're moving your feet, you can hang out with me here on the morning show. We're going to be doing it in style here, right? These are your movers and the shakers for Monday, January 22nd. We're going to cover the modern list and take a look and see what we have inside. Cards moving up. Oh, looks like we got a full reset. Here's an interesting, okay, this is a good lesson for everybody here on stocks and a refresh rate. Let's do it. I'm going to enjoy this one. Grilled cheese, please. Okay, he's making waffles. Who wants one? I'd love a waffle. Can I come over? Waffle and berries. Them bastards had it. The Bills self-destructing. Darn those Bills. Yes, football time is here. Okay, well, let's talk about refresh rates here for a minute because we're going to hit the movers and the shakers list for today. And this is the modern list because it's Monday and that's the way we play. We play in modern on Monday. I'm headed to CEDH tonight. Ain't got no place to play modern. Let's take a look at refresh rate and what that means, okay? So whether you're tracking cryptocurrencies or you're tracking stocks or you're tracking magic cards all over the world, it doesn't matter. They all sort of work the same and it's on the 24-hour clock. Now, what does that mean? I'm just going to show you something because it's quite rare that we'll hit this at this point in time of day where the refresh rate has just come up. So if you look at on this column, this is usually tells us the percentage gain, but you notice how we've got a list here that includes the One Ring, Mindbreak, Track, Chalice a la Void, two printings of Chalice a la Void, Gemstone Caverns, Manamo School at Water's Edge, Painter Servant, Urborg Tomb of Yamath, Cavern of Souls, and Foursome Negation. But the percentage uptake here says 0 for every single one of these cards. So how can this be the movers and the shakers, Brody? There's nothing moving. There's nothing shaking. Nothing is moving. Nothing is shaking. It's just straight up 0. All right. From 0 to hero, what does that mean? And why do we get this? Because everything works on a 24-hour period. If you come to know that these refresh every 24 hours. So if you look at some cryptocurrency, because that's also in real time, if you want to take a look at the Bitcoin, it'll give you the percentage increase or the percentage decrease for the day. If you come to see one of these stocks or one of these, any of these things, cards, coins, stocks that are traded on the open market, and it says 0% increase, it's either one of two things. It hasn't moved, or they've just refreshed the 24-hour clock and it has to actually start over for the next business day. So that doesn't mean that these aren't our movers and the shakers. It just means that the clock just rolled around. It's like Y2K, right? That's what that means. You lulled a bit, by the way. You lulled little bee to sleep with the baby shark. Good. I'm glad I'm can be of some use. All right, so the One Ring, a card that's finding its way on the moveriest and the shakeriest. MTG Gaming Bob's, I like your tip. Solid advice from the Gaming Bob, all right? If you don't want to chase this card in packs or you don't want to pay the $70, you can maybe find yourself a bundle and then you're going to get some extra goodies and you're guaranteed to get the One Ring. Pretty spicy advicey from my brother, Gaming Bob, okay? Good advice. This thing's crazy. You cast it from your hand, you get protection from everything. Okay, this is how crazy this card is. Basically, time walk, right? It's like I can't touch this. Then there's been all kinds of interactions with this thing that I've seen at the EDH tables. It enters the battlefield. You can't be blown up or killed for the turn. You get protection from everything. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life for each bird encounter on the ring. Tap the ring, put a bird encounter on it, then draw a card for each bird encounter on the ring. Some people are ramping this out on turn 1. It's actually quite. This is why I think the memory jar is actually not that bad and should be worth a couple more bucks. Because if people are easily turn oneing the One Ring, turn oneing Lenu Unique, then how much more difficult is it to turn one a 5-mana artifact? People are turn oneing this quite regularly. I see it. Saw it just the other day. A turn one Ring. It happens. You're like spirit guide, spirit guide, a little soul ring action, maybe a mana crypt, and you're there. Pretty easy. Land, soul ring, mana crypt, one ring. That's like the line. Pretty simple. Also, people who pay a lot of life in EDH and Commander, where you've got 40 life, and that's a resource that you use to draw cards. You get down in life. T. Freezy had a big brain play at the table the other day. I liked it. He was down low in life total, around, 2 or 3 or 4 life. Then people blink the one ring. Like you blink it. You just, if it's got 4 burden counters on it, it's been drawing you a mitt full of cards. You just blink it off the table. And then all of a sudden, it gets reset without any burden counters on it. And then you can stop you from killing yourself. So having a way to blink the one ring is another way to keep the ring from killing yourself, and then being able to cast it from your hand gives you protection from everything. I mean, it's not so great on turn one. Yes, it is. It's good on turn one, and it's good later in the game. If you're playing it on turn one, you know you're going to draw a fistful of cards. And if you're playing it late in the game, you're just going to hold it up until the time where there's a threat on board. Look at this thing. This is the rising tide that lifts all boats. This is just going to make all decks better. That's why I have to get a copy of the One Ring. Haha, his name. Little Benson. Mindbreak Trap. I like this card. Decent card. I like it. This thing sees play. It's also a Zendikar. Let's see. The foil. Ugh. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Let's look at the foil version of this card because it's $300 for this foil from Zendikar. So like those foil cards from back in the day, we used to play with Sun Rays and we'd play with Zendikar Mindbreak Traps all day. Was foil. No, let's see here. $300 for the Mindbreak Trap. Any card that has an alternate mana cost or costs 0 to play it, definitely long-term good. Like another card of mine's favorite is Cave In. This one's an instant 4 mana. Look at this. If an opponent casts 3 or more spells this turn, you can pay 0 rather than play this card's mana cost. If there's a pissing match on the table where, people are duking it out and spell slinging, you just exile any number of target spells. So it exiles everything on the stack. People getting greedy and playing more than 3 spells a turn, storming off. This thing, shut her down, tap her cool. Mindbreak Trap, that's why it's so darn good. $300. Vintage and Legacy playing it, of course. Of course, Commander is also going to play this Mindbreak Trap as well. Let's see here. Deck's playing it. It says mostly Vintage and Legacy, true, but I do see it in Commander because of the 0 cast. It's very good. Very, very good. And then Chalice of the Void. This card seeing its way onto the movers and the shakers as well. This is a card that's cost 0 mana. If you want to put it on 0, you can cast it for free. Okay. I like the card simply because you can cast it for 0 mana, then you could turn on Metalcraft and get another artifact on the board, including the Mox Opal. Except Mox Opal's not legal in Modern, but this thing is. It shuts off 0s and 1-drops. It's good against burn. It's also good in Vintage. If you're playing it to awaken it with a Cyberdrive Awakener, you can make it a 4/4. But it's definitely seeing play mostly in the Vintage. As a sideboard card, I don't know anybody who's playing Chalice of the Void in the main. Yes, congrats. Little Benson. Nice. Little Benson family is growing. Good morning, Little Benson. Nice to see you. All right, and then the Gemstone Caverns, another card that we've talked about a few times. The foil version of this has also got a crazy premium on it. It's as much as Mindbreak Trap. I think it's even more. This one's $400. Yes, for the Time Spiral foil version of Cavern. Oh my God, it's so expensive. $400 for this one. This one has got to pay off though. I'm kind of on the fence of how many copies you want to put into a deck. I've tried running 4. It seems kind of bad if you've got too many of them late game. It's good in Captain Sisay because it's a legendary, and in decks and Commander where legendary matters, this card actually gets you another legendary, so that's an upside. You can only play one of it in EDH, but if we look down on the list, it's probably going to be seeing play in modern lists because people, want to play this card. Yes, mostly showing here in the list in modern, but that's okay. Even though it's played in EDH, modern. The question for me is how many copies do you want to run in a deck? I know 4 is too much. 1 is probably too little. 2 is kind of the number. And if you're feeling unlucky and you want to steal the draw, Footfalls, Hardened Scales, Living End, Dredge, and Amulet Titan all playing them in mono green. Trononators. For all you Tron degenerates out there playing Tron, here's another legendary land. Manamo School at Water's Edge. Interesting card. It was always getting some love in modern from the Kamigawa block. It's legendary, so the legendary rule matters. I think we're going to see more sleepers on the movers and the sleepers list, right? I use curled foils as diapers. Endless supply. All right, so Manamo, this thing taps for a blue, so it might as well be an island. You could play this 1 blue and tap it to untap a legendary permanent. This thing seems great in a Legendary Matters deck, and you're going to hear that from me a little bit more as time goes on, because now Legendary Matters is a thing. So we got the Legendary Land, Monomo School at Water's Edge. I've used this to myself to try and untap an Emery because you can cast things from your graveyard. A good tick up in price. Now let's take a look. I am holding a copy of this, $53. I wonder what the foil version is worth. Yes, $128. Expensive. What's the foil? Let me see. Look at the chart on the foil one. Sometimes sniping these foils before they get popular is the way to go. Sit back and lurk, right? Oh, it's been around $100 for quite some time. It may just see a tick up in price. Sold out in stores. You can't get it anymore. But the Manamo, where are we playing it? Azorius Control in modern 4-color and 5-color Omnath. Merfolk, yes, of course. Jeskai, Demir Control. Talion, the Kindly Lord in 4-color Omnath, Lara Croft, and Urzalord High, Shorakai, the Genesis Engine, all playing Manamo. If you want to untap legendaries, this is the way to do. And here's a card from Shadowmoor that's just going to stick around for some time. Seen plenty of reprints as the Painter's Servant. I am so stoked about this card. When I moved from playing Type 1 and Type 2 to actual formats, because I stepped away from Magic and I didn't know that there was anything other than Type 1 and Type 2, I was interested in playing this card in Legacy because I like the Painter Servant card because it makes everything painted. It paints the roses red. It paints the roses red. This card paints the roses any color you wish. I wish they had used the PS1 style Lara Croft in the art. Right? This thing, pardon me, oh Mr. Speed, this paints the roses red. Okay, this sucker here, okay, as it comes into the battlefield, it's also a scarecrow, if that matters. But as it comes into the battlefield, you choose a color. All cards that aren't on the battlefield and spells and permanents are the chosen color in addition to its other types. So this one can make everything blue, so you can pitch everything to Force of Will. If you run it with Dream Halls, that's another way to get free spells. You can also play it with hate pieces, where you're playing cards that cost more or have a downside for a certain color, like a Hoser card. This can also turn on the Grindstone so that you can mill infinitely, and this is why I like this card, because the Painter Servant Grindstone Legacy deck was always tier 2, and now it's pushing it up into a tier 1 with the printing of the Brothers War and some more stuff. Like here's Legacy Painter. Legacy Painter still viable, right? That's why this card will just keep on keeping on. I love it. Blue Tinker's playing it. Legacy Painter playing it. I want to look at the Painter list here this morning. Let's take a look. So we got Mardu Painter. Mardu. It comes with black. It comes with white. It comes with black and white and red, of course. And it looks like Mr. Painter Servant has, yes, 4 copies of the Welder, 4 copies of the Engineer, the Servant, Brea Shaper's Apprentice. I buy-listed this card. Maybe I shouldn't have. A decent card, though. It's pretty cheap. Spirit Guide, Chaos Defiler. When it enters the battlefield or dies, each opponent chooses a non-land permanent that player controls. Destroy one of them at random. Defiling the laws of gravity and fury as well. Fury. Another card that I like to see in, I saw some folks playing it. over in Calgary was the Mishra's Dragon Engine. That is the one that when it enters the battlefield from your graveyard, you draw 3, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. So a card that I'm very fond of. I like the interaction with that. And then the 4th, Aerolingus. Ah, yeah, baby. Get some Aerolingus in your breath. This is a nice card. It seems to be included in a lot of legacy decks and anywhere they can play it. I think this is the splash for the white. Now you can even play the plateau in there, get access to Swords to Plowshares and a little bit of removal. A decent card. A couple of red elemental blasts and a pyroblast for the Painter Servant, getting a push up in power level. So I think it's safe to say, I would say that the Painters has gone definitely from a type 2 legacy, tier 2 legacy deck to at least it was hanging out at a 1.5. I couldn't make it work. What type of Aerolingus? The 4th Aerolingus, right? If you say it with me, the Lingus. King Lingus of the 4th. King Lingus the 4th. The best Lingus. The Aerolingus. Yes, Painter Servant safely tier 1.5 or tier 1 legacy deck build now. I'm very happy. To see that big red being more... I mean, a little bit of Lingus will do that. It'll push you from tier 2 to tier 1, right? Decent. Decent. Urborg, the Tomb of Yawgmoth. This enchanted land is a swamp, and each land is a swamp in addition to its other in other types. This is like the Yavimaya. We got this one and we were happy to get Urborg, but now a card that I'm even more friendly about is is this one, but also the Yavimaya, the one that makes everything a forest. A lot of discussion. People are like, well, they should finish the cycle, so that all lands are plains, all lands are mountains. I can't see them doing it. Stuff can get pretty out of control. Like if they were to do the next one, I don't know. It's hard to say what they would do next, if any. I don't see them finishing the cycle of 5. Definitely not going to do blue, right? And could we make one that made everything a mountain without too much collateral? Or do we have to make it just stop at the Golgari colors with the black one with swamps and the green one with Yavimaya? Hard to say. Let me know in the channel, in the chat below. Do you think they're ever going to complete the cycle on this? Most people say no. The consensus is, card like Ace and Freeway is going to go to the moon, Alice, because now everybody can have Planeswalk, right? Dump a bucket of water on the table and everything is an island. Gotta go, Brain. Thanks for having stop by. Big love, big hug. Hit the like. Thank you so much. And keep on mixing it up. Formulation over at the Brains place. Really appreciate you for stopping by this morning. Just like the Urborg. Tomb of Yawgmoth. Cavern of Souls, this thing's especially good if you're trying to combo off, right? Like with Athasa's Oracle. Yeah. Cavern of Souls makes a spell uncounterable. This thing's good in Commander, especially if you're going to make a combo piece with making peace with your place, peace with your people. Combo piece action. This thing will guarantee you the win if you're using creatures to do it. The Cavern of Souls enters the battlefield. You choose your creature type. $50 for the Cavern of Souls and the Force of Negation. I do like the free counter spells. But if you're just splashing blue, though, you can't really pack in all the counter spells. You got to be fairly heavy suited into blue to be able to take advantage of them. Wow, I was just looking at Painter Servant's Master Price. It's the only one I pulled, and it's $180. Yes, pull your masterpiece and get some Painter Servant in your life. Good. Yes, it's good. The other one that's good is Grindstone too. Let's look at this. Kaladesh Inventions. Love to see this card. This is one of my favorite inventions. I had played a playset of these when they were cheap in the Painter Servant Grindstone deck, but this sucker causing waves on the mover shaker list here this morning. Look at it go. Look at that. Look at that chart fly. I'm so proud of you, Painter Servant. Look at the chart. Tick up in price, then it's settling down. Tick up in price, settling down. Tick up in price, settling down. Tick up in price, settling down. And if I said it once before, folks, tick it up in price and settle it down. Painter Servant to the moon, baby. Especially in these Kaladesh Inventions, a card like Mana Crypt, Lotus Petal, any of these inventions, I think these are long-term hold. I'm a big fan of the inventions. All right. YouTube needs to do some work and make the dedicated thing for live stream like Twitch does. Play your masterpiece in private. You top-notch, Brody, and deserve much larger audience and help you make that happen. Well, I tell you what, quality over quantity. I always say we've got the best viewers and the best community in Magic the Gathering here. And if you want to join me on the mornings, we can talk stocks and we can talk chalk. We can join Dual Brain over at his place, or we can even join in the pull game and get pulled right out of our seats if we get over to Twiddler's place. If you want to crack packs, that's where I do it. Over there too, maybe a little fun and duck racing. Peace, love, and happiness. You guys stay warm out there. We'll talk to you again on the next one. Enjoy Monday and have a little bit of fun. Knock, knock. Who's there? To who? It's to whom? We're out.